tuning in live again from the Cretelife podcast Flatwork King studio here in sunny Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm your host here, Will Mattingly, founder and creator of Flatwork Kings, here with my co-host, Phil Laraway.
Good morning.
And our producer, Chris Sargent. Thank you for being here today. Today we have a special caller. Where are we hearing from today?
So we're going to be hearing from Mike Webb, and he's out of JLC Concrete, Wilton, California.
Yeah, so I think some of our listeners, this is probably one of the more highly anticipated calls here. So yeah, over the years,
hopefully I don't let them down.
No way. So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and JLC Concrete. When did it start, and where are you at now?
Let's see. So this month, so that's a pretty big milestone for me, because usually the first 3, 4, 5 years in business is pretty rough, but the last 5 years have been doing, decent for us.
Good.
I'm fourth generation in concrete. I have never had another job outside of concrete. I worked for my dad at one time, both my brothers, both my uncles have concrete companies. My grandpa had a concrete company. So I don't really know how to do anything else. I'll be completely honest with you. I mean, if things go south, I'm working the tool aisle at Home Depot,
Yeah.
So
okay. All right. So you've been in this your whole life. You said you're fourth generation, and
fourth generation.
Your family members, are they in the same? Are they competitors of yours, or are they in the same market area? Or are they all around?
No. So my brother lives about an hour and a half south of me, and he literally does exactly what I do. I mean, he does pool decks, he does a little bit of commercial work, and a lot of apartment complexes and stuff like that. And I used to work for him. I worked for him for about 10 years, almost 10 years, maybe 9-ish years.
Okay.
My other uncle lives in Reno, so he's a couple hours north of me. And then my other uncle lives in town. He's only commercial,
Okay.
Grocery stores and, big slabs and laser screeds and stuff like that. So my dad has passed away. He's not here anymore, but he's kind of from the Bay Area, maybe about 2 hours from me. So no direct competition, but a lot of knowledge. So, when I get into I do get into binds, where I've been doing concrete forever, but you get weird situations. So I feel like I've got guys to run to, something, if I need some good advice.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you can't call yourself a concrete guy if you haven't been in a bind before.
Many binds.
Yeah,
many binds.
Yeah. So you're primarily, you're the stamped concrete aficionado, the pool deck expert in your area, and as well as on social media. I mean, the work is amazing. I mean, I don't think you're a humble guy, but not many people see you in the picture, or maybe you're just disguised in there. I mean, you're the guy taking the picture, probably, if I had to guess, but some of the work is insane. I mean, coming from a guy, I'm from Indiana. I'm sure different parts of the country are a little bit different in terms of mixes and things like that, but concrete is not a material that you have all day to work with. And you and your crew make it look like just the most relaxed, the pictures. Certainly there's a coordinated effort going on, but I mean, everybody looks like they're having a good time. Nobody's too far behind. And I mean, some of these videos that I've seen, there's a serious process at play. You got, I can only imagine 70, 80 yards going down. You got pool coping that needs to be rubbed out. You got step faces. You got edging around drains. You got hand tooled joints and like 4-foot squares over the whole area. And to cap it off, 28,000 buckets of color hardener, off to the side. I mean, tell us a little bit, give us a glimpse into like what one of those pours looks like for you. I mean, how do you,
I'm real big on performance from guys. Obviously, I've listened to a lot of interviews, and it all comes down to the crews. But for me personally, I'm trying to be there as much as I can. Now, I'm not there on every job. I've got, we're just about to start our 5th crew, but my foremans are dialed. I feel like I pay them pretty good money, like to where no matter what happens, they're going to make sure that it's right.
Good.
But I also have to make sure that I give them a lot of guys. Now, when I first started in business, I set all the forms, I did all the grading, and I just called in guys to help me for the first year and a half, 2 years. That was tough because I came from management, kind of laying jobs out and doing that whole deal. And then I had to go back to the labor part when I started my own. And that was a nice little treat for a couple of years. Now I lost some weight, so that was good. But other than that, it was a little bit rough on me.
Yeah.
But now, I've got guys that have been with me for a long time, and the foremans are pretty dialed. And if I can keep the labor force how they want, then we're able to kind of turn out, a nice project. But
and I like how you just said, if I'm going to interrupt you for a second, you just said keep the labor force how they want. So it's not so much what Mike Webb wants, I mean, it is a lot of that, but right, you're concentrating now your efforts on keeping your foremans happy, and I'm sure that dives into, hiring people that they want to work with.
Absolutely. And I let them kind of do some of the hiring. Most of the hiring's coming from the cousin or there's a lot of family. I think we're at about 42 men right now.
Wow.
And I would probably say 35 are related one way or another. And there's a few kind of stragglers, that have come over from friends who are finishing and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I do put a lot of pressure on the foremans. I really do. But within reason.
Yeah. So birds of a feather flock together kind of thing. I mean, and that's kind of what I've seen in my own business. You've seen it in yours now. And, I think for people listening, I mean, there's a lot of the labor market. That's the conversation now. And you got to recruit people from these family trees, right? Brother, cousin, and you can't train aptitude or attitude. So, you could assume if it's somebody's son or their cousin, they're probably raised with the same,
exactly
the same priorities in life. They probably tie, if their uncle ties his shoes, then they probably tie their shoes in the morning,
Yep. And it puts a lot of accountability on the guys, right? Because if I got a couple lead finishers and they've brought over their brothers, and some of their sons are now finishing, it puts pressure on them to make sure that who they bring over is doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's not just Mike Webb go out there and be the boss and see who's not performing or performing.
Yeah.
They wanna perform because now they've kind of like, hey, look, this is the guy I brought over. Look how good he is, or So I try to just make sure. When I go through hiring and different things, my biggest thing to the guys every year is you got to be happy, man, because concrete will turn you inside out. And if you're unhappy and you got to do concrete, man, that's a rough day at work. Yeah. That's how I look at it. Yeah. So if they're not happy, it's like, dude, we got to figure something out. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I tell people there's no hard feelings. If you're not happy and you need to go. There's no hard feelings. I don't want to keep you here if you're not happy.
Yeah. That just kind of drags the rest of the crew down too, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, these projects in your area, it seems like color hardener's the way to go. It's your process for sure. I've seen it enough times in your videos. But tell us, how do you coordinate? Obviously there's those logistical things going through all of our heads. Anybody listening that knows JLC Concrete or your videos or anything has just seen the insanity in terms of just the quality and the finish and just the extra effort that you're going through to make those jobs, California approved, which
definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, tell us, like what's your day like when you're planning a big pour like that? Cause I mean, it seems like it's every day. So what's going through Mike Webb's mind when you're looking at a project that you got to pour the next day?
Definitely. So, if I will go back on it. I used to only pour integral concrete. Okay. I never touched color hardener for my first 5 years of doing pool decks. I didn't even know what color hardener was. I just knew what powder release was. We come back, power wash, and seal. That's all I ever did. And then we kind of get it into integral single color. And then it was like, okay, I don't have to come back and power wash. We can kind of strip forms that day and, move on. And then some of the integral jobs just didn't look right. The ready mix driver puts in another 5 or 10 yards of, 5 or 10 gallons of water. It's like, okay, well, I just threw the shades off by, 2 or 3 shades. And I don't know if your guys' customers are like mine, but it's like the whole world's coming to an end for concrete. The priorities are super screwed up.
Yes.
But, they're spending a lot of money. So I try to control the color. So I was like, we got to control the color because we're getting too much go back on color.
Yep.
So that's why we went to color hardener. Now,
Oh.
granted, color hardener is like double the amount of work. So it requires more guys, more this, more that. But once the guys get into the flow of doing the color hardener, they actually enjoy it. You do have a little bit of time, like say something's getting a little bit hard, you could put a little bit more color on and get that just about enough cream to do a pass and to get a stamp down on it.
Okay.
Now when I do big jobs or, jobs, so I have basically I have three crews that can pour, and I have two crews. Well, I kind of have a hybrid crew that can pour and set.
Okay.
So let's just say it's going to be a job of, 2,500 square feet. It's not going to be too hot. I know I can pour it in a day. It's just a little bit of mud. I'll bring over that hybrid crew. It's got 7 guys on it, and they'll help one of the pour crews go. I try to keep it simple. Like I have about 7 colors that I offer, and that's it. I don't get into crazy different colors and this and that. I've got 2,000 buckets of color hardener sitting in my yard, and we basically just rotate in, rotate out, and we basically push on those colors that we have, because I got light, I got dark, I got medium, and I kind of got a little bit of everything. If somebody wants a custom color, that's fine. But that's really, they don't usually want to pay for that custom color. I try to give them a good break, and my personal opinion, I think the color hardener looks better. Get a lot less inconsistencies. It cures nicer. And we pretty much do just single color. I very rarely do it, 2 colors or seal or anything like that anymore.
Okay.
So I feel like, everybody's getting a good price, or, everybody's getting a good product with the color hardener.
Single color. I'm going to stop you right there. That's the clear liquid release and pretty much no other frills. Correct. It's just the au natural. It's going to patina nicely with mildew, what have you. Years down the line. But none of that initial faux extra coloring or anything.
Yep, exactly. I don't do any of that. I just tell people if they want 2 colors, come back and teak it later and have somebody seal it, and I give them a recommendation of somebody who can do it. Okay. We don't do any sealing in house. I really try not to do any second color. Now, if I'm trying to match a patio, if I'm trying to match a patio or something like that existing, then I'll kind of go a little bit more than what I normally do, just because I know that's what they really want, even though it's what we don't do. But
I'm going to slow you down there, because I know you're speaking at a high level and we're covering a lot of information. But for those guys that are listening, I mean, was this a business decision at first to kind of start recommending the second color, as you call it, or that antique and seal process? Was that a business decision, or was that did that just stem from you personally not liking it, or was it more of a, hey, we're seeing a lot of issues with this, and maybe not issues, but just those slight inconveniences, headaches, things like that, callbacks related to these things?
I think I was trying to just get to where I didn't have to come back, because coming back is sending maybe 1 or 2 guys, having to power wash, having to seal, and that to me, just in our market, it's kind of a waste of money. We just don't do it that often. Okay. And so I was like, what's going to give me that best product when I leave? Homeowner's happy, I'm happy the way it looks, and I felt like color hardener with kind of everything wrapped in was our way to go.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so you've got your proprietary way of doing things. It's obviously it goes in line with your market, so it's not too far fetched of an idea. A lot of guys are probably listening saying, I can't get away from a job without pressure washing it or sealing it. But there's different markets at play. So you're in an area where that's an accepted thing. It's and it probably helps your business to move on. Like you said, you can go to the next job. You can refer somebody who you probably know is good at those tasks.
Absolutely.
So
definitely
so that's a little bit about the process behind what we all see. So have you grown? Obviously, you didn't start with 42 guys. You've probably grown a little bit over, what would you say, the last 5 years?
Yeah. So I'll be honest. My first 5 years in business, I didn't make any money, man, and it almost got to a point where you got to make a hard decision. Like, do I go back working for somebody? What do I do different? And I was at that point. I got a big pool account out here in Sacramento that feeds me quite a bit of work, and we'll kind of get into that as far as the niche goes. And it's a tough business if you're not set up for it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not set up for it correctly when I first started. You need a dump truck, you need a mini excavator, you need multiple different trucks. And the biggest thing of all is you gotta set and you gotta pour the same day. If you run out there with a 5 or 6 man crew, you will go into debt. You'll go about 300 grand into debt before you even know it, because that's exactly what happened to me. And I'm sitting there, do I pay concrete or do I pay payroll?
Wow.
Multiple weeks. And I'm just like, I'm putting out the work, I'm doing 5 jobs, and I'm setting 3, pouring 2, vice versa, whatever it ends up being.
Yeah.
Saturday guys want cash on Saturdays. And so I'm just like, I can't pay cash because now it's like almost a double wage for a
Yep.
Saturday.
Yep.
I can't pour it Saturday, but I need the money. And my brother was like, you kind of have to figure it out. Where do you want to go? What do you want to be? And the only way that I knew another guy who did pool decks as well. He's like, Mike, you gotta set and pour in the same day. Different crews, one's crew setting, one crew's pouring.
Yep.
He's like, and that'll change everything for you. But that's a big a big jump because I didn't have the money to buy another truck and to do this and to do that. And I basically just kind of sat down by myself in my office, and I was just like, Mike, you got to make a decision right now. Like, well, what are you going to do type of deal? Like, I'm having that back and forth, the devil on my shoulder type of deal. Like, where are we going? What are we doing? And so I decided to kind of get another crew going, went about another 50 or 60 grand into the hole, trying to buy equipment, borrowing equipment, renting equipment. I had a friend who, ran the rental yard. He kind of gave me half prices on some days and full on others to kind of help me out. And about 6 months out of that, I was able to pull myself kind of out of the hole and kind of get to even. And I kind of seen the light at the end of the tunnel. I just put my head down. And I'll be honest, I haven't looked back, So the first 5 years first year was only me. 2 years it was only me. Then we kind of went to about a 6-man crew. And then we went to about 13, 14 guys. And then it's just been jumping the last 3 years. I
so
think
you're used to seeing 30 to 50%, 100% growth year over year, and that's tough to maintain, man. That's impressive.
It's tough to maintain. It's tough to maintain. I'm lucky that I have kind of the niche market as far as pools go. I'm with the biggest pool builder in the United States, and I'm friends with the owner. And he basically is, Mike, hey, I'll give you as much as you can handle.
Wow.
They put out probably, they're going to do 1,200 pools this year.
Wow. Just in your market?
Just within an hour of Sacramento.
Oh,
basically,
wow.
In all the areas. Now I have a couple other friends that do pools, and I have a few home builders that I kind of do work for. But I mean, as you see, it's mainly just pool decks. I don't have a salesman.
Wow.
Everything goes through me. And I've worked out a deal where it's like, I go into the office of the pool company. They literally hand me a check for whatever I did Monday through Saturday every Tuesday morning, and they give me 15 more plans. And here, Mike, go do it as fast as you can.
That is, that's a mouth-watering story there for any concrete guy, I think, man.
I don't tell a lot of people that. Only a few of my friends are on the flat work Kings, so I kind of keep that to myself.
Well, hey, it's not all it's cracked up to be, though, right? I mean, you're a humble dude. You've obviously put a lot of hours into building those relationships. That's not something that just happens overnight, right?
Definitely.
So, you've got to grease the squeaky wheel, so to say. So you recognize you saw a problem early on, and you addressed it. You grew out of necessity. It sounds like, you had to put up with some things and some struggles at first, and now you're to a point where you've got crews setting, crews pouring, and so when we do see the JLC team post up a driveway or something, is that usually tailor off of a pool deck somehow? Are the pool decks mostly your kind of your icebreaker for some people, or do you have customers just out of the blue calling you?
If you call me out of the blue, I respectfully take the call, and I usually respectfully decline. It's really what it comes down to be.
Yeah.
I always try to give them a contact of somebody else They found me through Instagram or something like that.
Yeah.
Unless it's, I fill them out and it's a referral of a friend or a referral of another job I did, I try to do those jobs just because, I'm very appreciative of the referral. I mean, that's half our business sometimes is coming off a referral.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lose that in case, the pool market goes down or, this goes down and then I'm stuck there with
Sure.
40 plus guys. I don't have any. But I usually don't take outside calls as far as that goes.
So
but
you're
usually
not
if I'm
keeping
doing
all
something,
your eggs in one basket, so to say. I mean, you're still playing it safe. You're answering those calls and keeping a good name.
Yep. I'm trying to give them, I try to give them a good referral because really that's all I can do at
Yeah.
that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, 80% of the concrete guys in my area, and we're all kind of in it together, man. We don't really bid against each other. There's plenty of work out there to do it, but I'm a firm believer if we just kind of stick together, we'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, that's easier said than done, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you got to work these relationship angles, whether it's with your competitors or with, the big pool builder in town. And, service is really what impresses people.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm sure that without you increasing your capabilities, your pool company, maybe that relationship would be somewhere else today. I'm sure
Absolutely.
you've ratcheted up your operation to make their lives easier. Is that somewhat true?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there's actually three of us concrete guys in at the one pool company.
Wow.
So they do, and I obviously not going to do 1,200 plus pool decks this year. But the owner I've known for a long time, even before I was doing concrete for him, I knew him for a long time.
Yeah.
But he's just like, I call him like, hey, do you want me to do more? Because he's like, hey, he always asks us, hey, do you know anybody else to come help us do pool decks? And I'm like, why are we,
Yeah, you're a
I want to
businessman.
do
You're
it.
going to answer that with, yeah, I do know somebody. I know
Yeah.
a guy. Yeah.
So that's kind of the route that we go. But as long as they're feeding me, then
Yeah.
I'm very grateful.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
you've obviously got a pump now, right? You've got one or two pumps even, or what?
Yeah, so I actually have I got two line pumps. I
Okay.
run the Schwing 305s. I've got a third one that may even be at World of Concrete tomorrow. They don't know if they were going to take it to World of Concrete or they were going to ship it out. It may be sitting on the floor. It may be on its way here. So I'm
Okay.
waiting on a third one.
Is that a line pump as well?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So I run all Schwing. I run all 305s just because I try to keep it all the same as far as maintenance go. And we all
Yep.
do.
Then you
But
teach one guy on one and then he knows on the other,
yep,
right?
if you're pumping every day and you don't have your own pump, you're spending a lot of money. I probably spent 60 grand a year with one crew just pumping. And I'm like, I can buy a pump for 80 grand. That's my mentality. Now you got to have a truck and a guy, but at the end of the day, my stamp guy or my pump guy on two crews is my stamp guy. So they pump, they clean up, they get the get the front of the house all clean, get all their hoses and stuff done, and just about that time it's ready to start stamping. They jump to the back and they help whoever it is to start stamping. So we kind of got a process on all the crews, and that's pretty close to what it is, unless they're a newer pump guy. But that's usually the pump guy is usually the stamp guy.
Wow.
But we've got a lot of guys, so it's like
Yeah.
I never try to put too much pressure on one or the other. Each pour crew's got my one pour crew's got 13 guys. The other one has 12 guys. The other one has 8 guys. And I schedule accordingly.
Yeah.
What crew can handle what job? How hot is it going to be? How much room is there to work? And we go from there.
Yeah, and you obviously have the California weather on your side. When some people are
Mm-hmm.
listening or people that follow you. I mean, obviously, I have never personally seen you post any pictures with anything but sunshine and blue skies. But
Yeah.
that is something you still have to work around, right? I mean, even in your climate, if you're able to pour every day, the
Yep.
demand for pouring slots may be higher. I'm not sure. I mean, you're probably putting in orders ahead of time. A lot of us,
Yes.
no matter what market it is, it seems like every year it gets harder to put in orders and make sure your supplier relationships are good.
Yeah, so I have a really good relationship with my supplier, and I only use the one guy. He
Okay.
gives me however much I want at any time I want it, and I know that is they screw up sometimes. Sometimes I'll give you an example. I ordered one of my crews today. We ordered two trucks, basically 30 minutes apart. Well, the second truck was a new driver. He put 55 gallons of water in my. I was a 7 yard load on that one, and basically I had to send the truck back because I couldn't have an extra 55 gallons of water. And my supplier's like, hey, we screwed up, no big deal, another truck's on the way.
Wow.
Just like that. No complaining, no this, no that. I'm their biggest guy. They have about 30 trucks, and nobody pours more than me. Some guys pour more yardage because they're pouring whatever, a big slab or something like that.
Yeah.
As far as being consistent, I'm pouring five to seven loads a day with the three crews, and I literally text them the day before. Hey, two trucks here, two trucks here, two trucks here, 30 minutes apart, starting at 7 o'clock, and they don't blink an eye. Now, it goes back and forth because I give them free will every Tuesday to run my credit card for my concrete bill.
There you go.
And without me even seeing the bill.
That right there. And again, I mean, I'm slowing you down here because there's some heavy stuff that you're just glossing over some pretty heavy stuff. So, I mean, these are little things, right? You talk now, you can get concrete anytime you want. You got a good relationship. You can send a truck back here and there if you need to. Now, these are things that a lot of guys beat their head against the wall saying, how do I get that? How do I get that relationship? Well, part of it is, like you just said, when was the last time you offered to pay your supplier in 7 days? Every week I do the same thing. We pay our concrete bill almost weekly. So that's, that is something you're giving to them, right? It's a two-way street. This is a two-way relationship. Definitely. They have a business to run. They've got bills to pay. The quicker you can pay them, the quicker they're going to bring you mud. So this is
exactly
not to slow your roll there, but I just wanted to slow down and kind of hit on that because a lot of guys do beat their head against the wall saying, I'm too small, this, that, and the other. Well, when was the last time you offered to pay before your bill was due?
Yeah, and being, even if you're only pouring, 3 days a week or whatever it is, giving the concrete company I don't want to say the upper hand, but just letting them do what they kind of do. If it meets within how it works for you, let them do it. Because like they charge my card 40 grand a week. It's usually about what my concrete bill is, or 35, somewhere right in there. And they send me the bills 10 days after that. I go through the bills. Sometimes there's a weird charge or something in there, and they're no big deal. Credit off the next one. But it's a give and take. If you're complaining all the time, hey, my mud sucks. Hey, you were late. Yeah, my guys are late. Whatever. I mean, they show up late, but if you're complaining, just like anything else, you don't really want to help that guy out. That's how I look at it. Like if somebody's complaining,
you gotta be low maintenance.
Yeah. So, and paying that bill is probably 90% of it, as far as it does, on our end. So that's why I tell them just whatever it is, no questions asked, run it.
Now, do you get points on your credit card too? Is there a strategy in that?
There is. If my suppliers don't take American Express, I don't use them. Flat out.
Bam.
I just like that. If you don't like it, like one of my main suppliers about 2 years ago got bought out, and they said, hey, we're not taking American Express no more. And I was spending about 80,000 a month with them. And I said, you don't take American Express, I'm going down the street. And not in a jerk way, in a very professional, like, hey, this is how I run my business. This is how I'm going to do it. Everybody wants my business right now because I'm paying fast, and that's really what it comes down to be. And so they still take American Express for me.
Look at that. You heard it from the horse's mouth. I mean, that's just, these are just little things. Again, I mean, you're humbly kind of glossing over, but I mean, these are pretty heavy things for some people. I mean, when, somebody gave me that advice years ago, they said, you get points for your credit card, right? Yeah. Well, what do you use it on? Well, just gas right now. And nobody else has a credit card, just me, right? Okay. So that's, you're only capturing, what, for gas, $1,000 a month at the time. For me, it was like, now we're spending $200,000 a month on our credit card. And the points pay for the gas. I mean, what?
Yeah. And I do it as the points is, honestly, I take my families on vacation. I haven't paid for a vacation. I'm not Mr. Extravagant on vacation anyways, but I haven't paid for a family vacation in 5 years.
Wow.
All on points. That's
Wow.
airline, that's a room, whatever it is, whatever we need, it's all done on points. So that's kind of my gift back to myself that
Yeah.
I can go spend, have a
Sure.
nice little vacation. And I don't spend any money. Legitimately, I spend maybe $500-600 outside of, whatever
Yeah.
we're buying for food or something like that. But it's a big perk on our end. And so we have about 8 employees that have credit cards, and I basically track everything through my phone, on what they're spending and this and that.
Yeah.
Um, so it allows me to, one, get the points and then watch everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, he spent gas here, he spent gas here. How much did we spend this week in gas versus, 3 months ago when gas was 25 cents cheaper? We're
Mm-hmm.
up at about
Mm-hmm.
almost $700 a day more than we normally are because of the gas prices and where we're
Wow.
at.
Wow.
So that's a pretty big hit when it comes down to it at the end
Yeah.
of the week.
Yeah. And are you, not to go down that rabbit hole too far? I mean, obviously, we're gonna see more tribulation, and whether it's
hmm
inflation or the economy in the next few years. But what are you doing right now to specifically gear yourself up for, this increase in costs we're seeing? I mean, are you having those meetings with your, kind of your pool company right now, or what? How does
Yeah,
that go?
we had kind of had a little bit of we usually get a price increase once a year from kind of our main guys and different stuff. At the end of last year, we kind of had, a little emergency meeting, just like, hey, all we're trying to do is just get what it's costing us. And it went up like 35 cents more a square foot. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
cool with that because like
Mm-hmm.
we broke it down, and the owner, he's a numbers guy. He can tell you anything, anytime, whether it's rainwater or economy. He can figure it out on a piece of paper with some numbers. So he's pretty intelligent when it comes
This is
down
the
to it. But
owner
he
of your
also,
supplier, your concrete supplier.
the owner of the pool company,
Oh,
because
okay,
that's who I
gotcha.
get
Yep,
my,
yep.
yeah, that's who we get most of our stuff from. So, yeah, and then, so basically when the pool company gives me a plan, I go out, it's okay, there's a 800 square feet. If the homeowner wants to do more, I can do extra directly to me. It doesn't have to go through the pool company.
Gotcha.
Pool company pays me. So I charge accordingly on the square footage, and sometimes it's a little bit more. And when the people say something, I'm just like, hey, if this was 6 months ago, it would be $1.50 cheaper. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, this doesn't go in Mike Webb's pocket. This just puts the gas in the trucks for the stuff that's just making up the difference.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 people are reasonable when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Now that 10th person, it is what it is. They either pay it or I don't do it. I don't. If people don't want the extra concrete, I'm like, hey, you want to take it all off contract and have somebody do it? Do you want? You
Yeah.
want me to just do what comes with the pool? I'm like, this is my price.
Yeah.
I don't go down on price. I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't give anybody breaks. I try not to take any cash. Like I don't. Cash to me doesn't do anything. Like
Yeah.
you
It's
can't even
still going
spend
in the
cash
bank.
even
I
if
mean,
you wanted to.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not like, I don't want cash prices. I don't want this. This is my number. I'm going to give you the absolute best product that I can give you. And this is what it's going to cost.
Yeah.
Um, Instagram is amazing. I usually just use Instagram for my personal self. Like, hey, go on Instagram, tag me in a photo that's what you want your concrete to look like, and I'll do that.
That's
Because I
awesome.
do the same stuff,
Yeah.
right? It's like, okay, there's
Yeah.
10 different
Yeah.
pictures. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
different ways to do it, and then they go on there, they literally tag me in something. I'm like, okay, that's a oyster white with a Roman slate stamp, 5x5 squares, and they want a broom band around the edge. No problem.
Yeah.
And it's done at that point. I'm
So,
trying to keep it as simple as possible.
yeah. So you do have a lot of content on Instagram. Obviously, that's where probably most of anybody would be seeing you at. You're like
hmm
12,000 followers on there almost now. I mean, it's so
Yep,
awesome to see it grow like that. I mean, the work speaks for itself, obviously, and the video. You've got an eye for your angles and your different things. But I mean, it really
sure.
is like a living portfolio, right? I mean, your customers can get on there
Definitely.
and you tell them, tag me in a post. I mean, how easy does it get?
Yeah, I mean, and everybody has Instagram, unless they're, maybe over 60, kind of a retired couple or something. They usually have Facebook. They don't necessarily have Instagram,
Yeah.
but I think my Facebook's linked to the Instagram anyways. Um, but yeah, it makes it super easy. And people, all they want to see is that when they spend that money, is it going to come out how they want it to be? And
Yeah.
when you can show them hundreds and hundreds of jobs and
Yeah.
every job looks like nice,
Yeah.
they feel confident.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer if you show up to the homeowner's house and like Oh, it's a brand new work truck. Oh, it's a brand new excavator. Not that you have to have brand new stuff. Is it clean? Does it look nice? Because that's the stuff that people look at. They may not tell you, but they definitely look at it.
Yeah.
And if you're charging them a lot of money, you better act like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, no, your presentation's great. I mean, it's the little things, right? Every picture I see or video of your job sites, your guys are in uniform or they have a JLC shirt on. I've seen a couple different colors, but I mean, I'm paying attention to these things because I mean, I admire
Yeah.
those things. I want to emulate those things in my business that are going to propel me to look like the JLC in our area. And like you said, I mean, your trucks are parked out front. They don't look like rust buckets. I mean, even if they were, a little spray paint can job on the weekend can really work wonders
Sure.
for your image.
Absolutely.
As people are just driving by cruising speed. What is my company going to look like at 30 miles an hour?
Definitely. Definitely. And I'm a firm believer in the branding. That's, I make the guys, whatever trucks are on job site, all the guys have to wash that truck at the end of the week. So each crew has probably 4 trucks between the pump truck, material truck, dump trailer, and we can wash all the trucks in 30 minutes if we all do it.
Wow.
And I require them to do that because I don't want the stuff looking like crap at the end of the week. Whoever drives that truck is responsible for the inside, but the outsides, the whole crew is responsible for it. I give them power washers. I give them anything that they need to do it.
It just needs to look good.
I don't want to be a jerk, but if the guys show up to work in their 49er shirt and it's a long sleeve, go home and get your JLC shirt. I know you got 10 of them. Go get your jacket. I know you got 2 of them. I know if they don't, then it's my fault. But I will send them home to go get their gear and come back to the job if they don't have it on.
Yeah.
It's my fault for having a couple different colors out there because when I was first in business, I was like, okay, I was blue, then I was gray, then I was navy blue. We couldn't find a hole in the ground, but that wasn't important then.
Yeah,
So
and I mean, it's
guys
still,
for a long time.
it really hasn't reflected on in your pictures. I mean, I'm looking more at the JLC. I mean, the logo's on there, like you said. It's not the 49ers jersey with the favorite, jewelry hanging down and it's just distractions.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really all
Definitely.
it is. It's uniform. I mean, somebody could go work a minimum wage job at Taco Bell and you got to wear a uniform. There's a lot of guys out there that'll say, I work for myself, so I don't have to do that stuff. And, I will say, if you want to take your business seriously and treat it like it should be treated, you got to do all those things. You got to take every one of those steps.
Yep. That's where I'm at. I just want everything to be super clean because when it comes down at the end of the day, if everything hits the fan, the economy goes the other way, people are only going to spend money with people that they trust.
Wow.
If they see like, okay, this company is super clean, like look at all their stuff, look at their work, look at the guys, everybody's respectful. Nobody's, smoking and drinking and doing this stuff. And I don't care what you do in your personal time, go do whatever you want to do. But when you're on my time that I pay you for, we got to act a certain way. We got to be a certain way because that's what's going to get us through those tough times. And I just try to set everything up for the tough times because it's all good right now. You can do anything you want right now because the economy is so good as far as construction goes. But I was in 07, 08, 09, and it was tough. It was definitely tough. I mean, I went homeless basically in those times, and it taught me a lot of good lessons. Absolutely.
Yeah. You have to know how to eat ramen noodles if you want to eat steak, right?
Exactly.
As the entrepreneur, I mean, so to say, you're holding on to the knot at the very end of the rope, and there is nothing between you and the ground, just your grip strength. And
that's it.
If you can hang in there every day and, concentrate on the little things, like you do, that's what's going to carry you, and when people's perception of your business is that strong and your branding is that on point, and I'll say it without jinxing it, but I mean, no matter what happens with that pool business, you're probably always going to be able to pivot. You'll always have that reputation carrying you.
And that's my goal.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you make the reputation when the times are good, right? To do it all. And that's kind of just where I'm at. I stress, I can't even express to you guys how much I express to my employees, how much respect we got to have because we have hard homeowners just like you guys. I mean, we get those customers that are just, you want to let loose on every word that to disrespect them, but we got to hold our tongue, man. We really do. It's just because that will go. That'll be 4 or 5 negative referrals. And when it hits the fan, I'm not getting any one of those or their friends
Yeah.
or their best friends,
Yep.
work when it
Yep.
comes down to it. So I try to, like, even with my employees, if they show up on the job, like in the summertime, my poor crew works like 5 hours in one day because we go out concrete drive. I don't care if it's one truck or 2.5 trucks. In 5 hours, we're done because it's 100 degrees
Yeah.
at like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
So I pay anytime, like I pay all my guys day salary. So if we work 4 hours, you get paid 8. If you work 8 hours, you get paid 8. If you work 10, you get 2 hours of overtime. And I pay like even their personal gas to and from work. I pay for it. Every single employee.
So they're driving their
If you're not,
cars to your jobs, and then
yep,
your foreman drive the truck.
yep. Whoever wants to ride in the trucks can. They can go to the yard in the morning and jump in the truck. But they'd rather just take their car. And basically, we have a system that uploads any receipts, any personal receipts, so I can basically pay them a per diem.
Oh, wow.
As long as they put that in the system and I can see that receipt, I write them a check to, whatever their name is and put it as a per diem because I can track that for taxes. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes they text it to me. I'm like, that's not good enough. I'm like, you got to put it in the system. I can't track everybody,
Yeah.
if it's going that way. So I try to take care of the guys because they're my eyes in the field. The foreman's the eyes in the field. I'm pretty busy. I show up for 10 or 15 minutes, sometimes on jobs. Sometimes I don't even make it to jobs, because I don't have any admin. I kind of do everything myself. And I lay all the jobs out myself right now. So I'm in front of the crews, spraying, meeting with homeowners, getting addendums, and keep moving.
So you're the CFO, CEO, project manager,
Yes, sir.
layout engineer, project planner, material orderer, and supplier relationship liaison.
Yep.
And
everything goes off my phone.
Yeah, but you've worked the system though. You've built a system, like you said. You have
Yep.
you've built processes and procedures into your business that allow you to do that
Yep.
without pulling all your hair out. And
Definitely.
I think that's obviously key. That's not only key, it's necessary.
Yeah. And with technology, how it is, it makes it fairly easy. I mean, all the foremans I have iPads. They clock guys in, they clock guys out. Every foreman has to take a picture at the end of the day of, about 10 or 15 pictures of important things on that job. The layout, the pressure gauges, making sure everything is good. For one, I can see what's going on because I don't always get to see it. And two, it's like if there was ever a hiccup, I can go back to those pictures to the pool company, like, hey, look, I did hook up that line that's leaking under the deck, or that wasn't me, or that was the landscaper. It's gotten me out of a lot of predicaments. So, it's, as long as we're keeping all that technology stuff, it allows me to just focus on in front, but I can still watch everything that's going on during the day. And
Wow.
that is a huge plus on my end.
Wow. Yeah. That's impressive, man. I mean, and you said you've obviously networked a lot with your own family. I mean, it sounds like you've got a family that goes back in concrete all the way back to probably just
forever.
Forever.
Like.
Yeah. But do you have a network? Obviously, you don't need to name names, but I mean, do you network with people through Instagram, obviously, as well, or through Facebook and social media?
Not really. I'll be honest, I'm a pretty personal person. I mean, I do the Instagram stuff because it helps with the business. But I don't network a whole lot out of kind of my, out of my kind of little circle. Not because I don't want to, because I just really don't have time.
Yeah.
I try to, since I do all the, the admin stuff, that takes a lot of time. And when I was younger, I worked 7 days a week, for probably 6-7 years before I even started my own business. I work 5 days a week. I go do side jobs Saturday, Sunday, and I missed a lot of time with my son growing up, with my oldest son. And I have 2 twin boys that are 4 years old now, and I don't want to do that. So
how old are they?
Push hard. They're 4.
4. Congrats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right
Yeah.
on. So you got 3 kids altogether?
I got 3 kids. I got one. My oldest son is about to turn 18 in about maybe 3 weeks from now. He turns 18. And then I got the 4-year-old twins, and then my wife. But I'm trying to just rearrange my priorities, and I'm more busy than I've ever been right now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't get those years back with my kids.
Yep.
And so even though I'm super busy here, I absolutely have to make time at home. For one, my wife would kill me because she's pretty busy with the boys. But I just love spending time with them.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Obviously, having you on the Cretelife podcast, the real deal himself, the Bobcat King, Mike Webb. Any closing words from the man himself?
I appreciate the call, man. I've never really actually told a story or anything like that before, kind of what I do. But it's nice to have kind of friends throughout the, United States and even the world in some sense. And I appreciate you taking time and just going through it with me.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I'm glad you took my call today. It's an honor to talk to you. And, for people that are out there that want to check you out, it's at JLC on Instagram, or what's the actual handle?
Yep. At JLC Concrete. So it'll say at JLC Concrete, Mike Webb.
Okay.
Is what it is.
All right. Well, you might expect some messages here after this, because I'm sure that, I'm sure that we're going to have interested people. So really appreciate your time today, man. It's been awesome. Right. I really appreciate it. We'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks for tuning in to the Flatwork Kings podcast, where support, learn, and grow are mainstays of our mission. Learn more at flatworkkings.com or in our Facebook group at Flatwork Kings.